Are we
Let
NSYNC?
me see.
Am
That showed up on
am
mine.
I
Oh, that showed up
Justin?
great. That showed up great on mine. Yeah.
Okay, for NSYNC, I'm Justin, just saying.
What? NSYNC?
Oh, groovy. Yeah.
Who else is there?
Cool.
I can't remember anyone.
I don't know. I only know Justin.
Actually, question. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Oh man, we're going with the hard-hitting questions right out the gate.
This is Mutually Bueno, man.
Well, okay, so this is funny that you're asking me that. The very first video that I ever ripped off of anything or like recorded for myself was back in the day when they had this. I can't even remember the name of the station, but it was on a local cable access station before we really had like where I was growing up. I didn't have MTV or VH1 or any of that shit, but it was this it would play all kinds of music videos. And the Backstreet's Back music video, the Halloween one, that was the very first thing I ever recorded.
It's iconic.
Yeah. I mean, it was super just for me at that time, being like a young kid and seeing all these dudes wearing dope ass makeup. For me, I think it was more about the. I mean, actually, theater makeup, doing prosthetics and all that, and then just the production value of it was pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Yo, did you know that they had like a 3D, I remember going to the theaters and then they had a 3D experience with the Backstreet Boys and they played that video.
Oh, wow.
And it was so cool. It was like the blue and the red glasses, the old 3D.
Old school 3D.
Yeah. It was bomb. I remember eating it. I was like, I mean, not eating it, but watching it and eating popcorn. And it was phenomenal.
I was just munching down on some Backstreet Boys while I was getting down with some NSYNC.
Right?
It was delicious.
Welcome back, guys, to the Mutually Bueno Podcast, the only show on the internet that talks about anime, manga, life, love, memes, dreams, all wrapped around a wonderful Japanese word of the day. My name is David. As usual, I'm joined by Aaron, and today we have a guest from the TheMidnightPuff YouTube channel, Sloth. Welcome to the show.
Tell us who you are or what you do.
I'm sorry. It's weird introducing guests you can't see.
There's that, or realistically, I could just make it all up at this point.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, that's the Mutually Bueno Podcast.
Underplay and overplay myself at the same time.
Mr. Superman,
I'm homeless, but I'm currently getting a very nice 401k.
Nice.
Right now, I am stepping into. We're just right now at about a month of having me and my best friend and roommate.
Cool.
Okay,
Decided. to
wait.
start.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. One quick question.
Yeah.
How long have you been best friends?
Oh, good question.
Shit.
Good question.
Aiden, how long have we been best friends?
Aaron, you listening?
3 years now. 3 or 4, something like that.
Okay. All right,
So
Aaron.
I met him back when I was trying to start my first YouTube show, and it was a lofty experience, and it was a failed experiment. But
It's okay.
yeah, it's okay.
You learn from the failures, right?
But long story short, we after all that stuff, my life took quite some torrential experiences, and Hayden kind of helped me get back on my feet. And then
Nice.
after getting through a lot of shit, I decided to basically quit my job and go full time into directing, producing, and writing material.
Awesome.
Whoa, right on. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was a step, but so I didn't have any idea what the hell I was going to do with that. I just knew I wanted to do it because I'm seeing a live stream of the guys like Markiplier and I think it was Mark and Ethan, Bob, and Wade and somebody else. They were all doing a charity live stream, and I'm sitting here bitching about my life while these dudes are raising fucking money for people who need shit, and it just kind of snapped something in me and made me realize that's what I want to do. And I didn't really want to be on camera as much, so I'm not really on camera very often at all on any of the stuff that I produce. I really wanted to be behind the scenes and helping people to actually develop their ideas and take it from just idea to actual concept and then applying that concept.
Oh, that's phenomenal, dude.
It's been fun.
Yeah, man. No, that really sounds fun. That's definitely something I want to try and get into
awesome,
for
man.
sure. I mean, doing the podcast or doing Mutually Bueno, we've done a lot of sketches and things in the past. We've written scripts and we've done like live action. Now it's more like animation, but I really want to like dabble back into it. Sure. It's been a long time. But definitely, just writing more sketches, writing more things would be amazing.
Too. Like knowing that there's other people out there doing like actual writing sketches and stuff, it's taken me a while to find people who actually develop their material as opposed to just like, I'm going to play this video game while I ramble. And I'm not
there's so much of that.
Like some of those people are subscriber based, but at the same time, I think we can all agree that there are way too many videos of gamers without even a face cam or a microphone, saturated. Just like trolloping through whatever stage of whatever game that like there's 14 million other videos of that available.
No, you're right. I see that all the time, especially on Reddit. You see that countlessly.
Sure.
I feel like in every subreddit it's just 90% is gaming channels,
right? And you can just flesh out hundreds of videos of that just sitting on the couch.
That's the thing. It's just it's so easy to make, and that's the reason why people choose to do it, because it's the easy way to just make content.
Sure.
Man, I gotta say, this is the first time we're doing a podcast with me and Aaron not in the same room. Honestly, I was a little disoriented starting up the podcast, and how having a guest, this is a little bit something, you know? Thank you. I appreciate that. And I feel like I'm sweating. Do I smell? I don't know. Can you smell from there?
I will only put deodorant on my nipples.
All right. Okay. That's
it's
something.
It's only the back of the knees for me.
Oh.
Part of my body.
Is that effective? So you guys are from Tennessee. I'm just wondering, what's the industry like currently over there right now?
Ooh, which one?
Oh, like filming,
like the producing.
Okay, so we're currently experiencing. We're in a situation right now where the state is very, very pro entertainment industry.
So right on.
Some pretty. There's some stellar. Like for instance, we got a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K back last year.
All right.
And we were able to purchase that without having to pay any taxes on it. And that was huge because that saved us enough money to then actually be able to purchase a bunch of other stuff we needed to get to actually have that camera function. And also the city that we live in, Chattanooga, Tennessee. We have the fastest internet in the nation.
Oh.
Yeah. And there is the Film Commission here actually last year they decided to take away the rules for having to get written permission to film on the city streets. So we can film anywhere in our city legally on the streets.
Really?
It's a huge thing if you're trying to like do stuff where you're going to make money off of it, and we're currently involved with it, I guess. We're involved with the first recreational cannabis consumption lounge in the Southeast.
And I know you're in the cannabis industry, and you're very, very pro, very active in that community.
Very pro cannabis, and it's a thing of we're actually involved in a government recreational research program to establish the effects of introducing recreational cannabis into a place that hasn't had it before, because there's not much data to show for that, so that we're hoping that at the end of this whole project that we'll have data for legislation to help the state actually pass recreational cannabis for us.
Interesting. So what are the laws surrounding cannabis over there then?
Well, so here's the thing. CBD is legal here, but our group actually gets to play with THCA.
Right on, and that's where it's at.
And we have stuff that, and so because it's actually I'm quoting these things incorrectly, and I should have my numbers better. I'm not the guy who does that research. I make the videos. I put the videos out.
No worries.
But I believe it's Delta Cannabinoid 19 is one of the ones that's listed as inherently illegal, as well as a few other of the versions of THC. So basically people are just finding other ways to say, well, I'm going to synthesize just this part, which actually has the effect that most people are looking for.
And
it's cool.
That's super cool.
In the midst of this quarantine, with all these businesses shutting down around us and all this, our TheMidnightPuff delivery service, the fresh air delivery, which was delivering we just partnered with We just partnered with. We just got allowed by the city to deliver alcohol now.
Well,
so we can deliver you edibles and alcohol. Yeah.
So you're delivering parties to people. What a nice guy.
Yeah, we're trying to keep people
incredible.
enjoying themselves while they're doing the quarantine thing, and the standards of operation for keeping the people who are delivering the stuff clean. I mean, it's just 2 people I think right now that are doing the deliveries because they didn't want to increase the amount of people delivering stuff because that then would increase the likelihood of people passing
infections.
stuff around.
Man, that is honestly that is honestly just so cool. First of all, but I would imagine this has probably taken a long time to really.
Well, see, that's
must have taken a lot of research.
I'm not. The whole thing here is that Hayden and I, we run Ginger Soul Productions. That's our small company's name, and we are legit. We have a license and all that jazz. We still have a lot to build for like our social media stuff. We don't have a website. We don't have a bunch of that stuff. But we didn't really care about that right now. We're in the first year of basically building our portfolio.
Yeah.
And the Midnight Puff was a client of ours, so. The focus that I had was not necessarily. I mean, I already understood a lot about cannabis. I've been a cannabis user myself. I've got spinal trauma as well as, a lot of other issues that, like, I don't want to go down the list. But the point is that in comparison to other, like, medications that were available to me, excuse me, medications that were available to me as well as just, the effect versus like what I actually have wrong with me from some certain medications was just entirely detractive to me getting any work done. So I realized that with cannabis I could actually work, stay focused, stay positive, not have a bunch of other issues and not feel like a heroin addict at the end of the day.
For sure.
Nice. Actually, so like where are you confined to using in your own home, or like can you smoke it outside and like would that be allowed?
Okay, so the way that this stuff works is that once you purchase some CBD from the bus, from the Midnight Puff, you get a slip that goes with it for the event of if you get arrested. All of the cannabis that, way. In the event you get arrested or stopped by a cop and they're like, "You got pot," and it's like, "Well, I do, but it's legal." So you get a slip with a receipt that explains to the officer what you have. So far as we know, no one's had any issues. The only problem that happened was when the bus did its very first big party and the cops showed up and they were all like, blah, 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 but they didn't do anything. It actually spurred a conversation that helped us to create a positive relationship with the local police force. And
that's great then.
I'm not going to say that they're pro what we're doing, but they are definitely...
They're not against it.
Man, we had a hip-hop show going on at the bus, and we had about 30 people chilling out on this bus, hanging out while dudes are rapping and getting down, having a great time. And where normally these folks would have expected that, if a cop's walking up to the back of this bus and he's looking in there, he's about to be busting some people.
Yeah, for sure.
This cop walked up, is checking out everything. We can all see him out the back door. And then I kind of snuck around to see what was up, and he's just chilling, bobbing his head. He was like, "This is really cool."
Yo, that's
wow, that's really cool.
They see something positive, and some of them responded to it very, very well.
All right, and you said Tennessee, right? So how are the neighboring states doing? Aren't they switching over, becoming more supportive?
That's not really true, actually, for us. It's been, because I'm in Tennessee, so you got to think Georgia, which isn't really legal at all.
Right.
We've got Alabama, which isn't really legal at all. We've got Kentucky, which isn't really legal at all.
Definitely.
It's
very wrong.
We have a lot. We have a lot of neighbors in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of landlocked in a place that doesn't really have anywhere. Like, I wish there was a state I could drive to just be able to use legally, because in reality, the whole point of this project is we're trying to destigmatize the use of this. And we're not trying to be like, "Good, look at us getting fried." It's more like, look at these people having an outlet for when they get off work. There should be no difference in societal view of when a person sparks up a joint, or some people crack a beer when they're done with their day. Some people crack a light on their bong.
Yeah, like so that's the thing that's crazy too, because like it's actually like legal, I think, in all of Canada, right? But before it would be like when it wasn't legal, everybody would be like so they would just be so, like, there's so much, there's like so much anxiety when you're like trying to smoke, and it's like, oh no, I don't know if I could do it. But now, like, you just see everybody walking. It's like people smoking a cigarette.
It's so casual.
And it's not quite got there yet. I mean, the whole thing is that we suggest to anybody, like on the bus, you can smoke on the bus, and the cops do not care. You can smoke within so many feet of the bus as well.
Really?
Yeah. You can smoke within so many feet of the bus, so you can go outside. It's not a huge perimeter, but there, that way, if it gets a little bit crowded, people aren't confined to that. And then you can definitely smoke in your house. Smoking in your car is one of those things that's like, because I'm still in the same thing of like, if I'm going to relate this as being something that's likened to cracking a beer when you get off work, we don't crack beers in our car when we're driving.
Right.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
So
Fair
if
enough.
we're going to try to get the same respect and have this looked at and viewed societally like that, we have to create the same respect for our people to say, okay, cool, you're not just trying to drive down the road 420 blaze it while you're swerving.
Just be,
thinking about Burger King when you should be thinking about the cheese and the mayonnaise.
Like that's the same thing. They have an initiative. Like they finally started cracking down on people smoking and driving. So like it's pretty dope here. Not gonna lie.
I mean, it's kind of like just like walking on eggshells too, right? I mean, like you have to put double the amount of effort into being responsible with this just to get a little bit of the stigma off it, And there's just so many like proven health benefits around it too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a person that got in an auto accident, fractured my spine. It wasn't diagnosed when it first happened, so I had a little bit of worse problems from that, and then got prescribed some painkillers for a while, and definitely I was legitimately overprescribed them from a doctor who is still in federal prison. But that had a lot of lasting, very negative effects on me, both mentally, physically, and just emotionally. And I can definitely say without a doubt that being able to utilize cannabis in medicinal ways was incredibly effective. But like you said, that whole factor of like, even with just CBD, there's still that nervousness that like, if the federal government decides to just say screw it and no, this is still illegal because we say so, that's really rough when you're just trying to enjoy yourself. You're just trying to relax for your day. But I do respect the desire for the government institutes to want to see data supporting what we're trying to say. So far we've got it, and that's the best thing is that like we've been helping with a pain management clinic, trying to introduce THC and CBD to people as a different means of pain management, and it's been incredibly effective for a few people, and is something we're hoping to be able to just show like what did this do and how did it affect these people's lives, either negatively or positively.
Man, that's just outstanding. I don't know how you find the time to manage so many streams of businesses, but I guess my question is, what kind of growth or what do you see coming up for the Midnight Puff? I guess
the Midnight Puff, again, the thing I got to make sure I justify is that it's like they're a client of mine.
Oh, okay, right.
We're very involved with them in terms of like a media and promotions team. But aside from all that, as far as what I know, the plans of the business growth are pretty amazing right now.
Yeah,
we're looking
sounds like it.
Franchise opportunities to move this thing into Nashville, Knoxville, Atlanta, Birmingham, Asheville, and also there's been the talk of a potential one in Boston, because the whole idea of having a bus that drives around in a city that you can get on, and you get on there and it's free to get on the bus, and then you can buy cannabis or eat cannabis edibles or smoke cannabis hookah.
That sounds amazing.
I mean,
that's the magic school bus.
I want that.
Magic school bus.
I need that. Man, I don't know. That's just too cool. I feel like we need something like that in Toronto, but it's definitely not a service yet. That's here. I haven't seen it going around. But question actually, another one. Several questions, but how many buses do you guys currently have right now?
Two currently. We've also got a third one in the works. We actually filmed going down to get the second bus, which was a hoot, and we're going to be releasing that at some point. We're going to be doing. I don't want to give it all
For
the spoilers
sure.
away, but if you like, do you guys know what Top Gear is?
I know it's about cars, right? I
Yeah.
assume. Okay.
Yeah.
I've only heard the title. I haven't really seen the show itself.
Okay, if you really want to have a great day, and I'm just trust me on this, guys.
Yeah.
Watch the older Top Gear. Do not watch that American piece of shit. That show is shit. But the original Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson and the rest of the crew is one of the funniest things you'll ever see, because it's played up like it's this like very posh car documentary. If you're just looking at it, it is the antithesis of that. Is Three Stooges with an obscene budget and a documentarian crew following them around, doing the dumbest prank shit to each other that they possibly can, doing challenges with each other. Like,
nice.
They wreck so much shit on this show. It's fucking my favorite stuff, dude. And Jeremy Clarkson is just fun. Yeah. He's just a fun dude. He's just like, well, we weren't expecting that to happen today, but on the next episode of Top Gear, let's see if Richard Hammond gets his panties in a tizzy. And like, dude, it's so fun. But the thing of like the production quality is like you never ever see the production crew unless they are 100% intending on you seeing them, and I love that type of stuff where you're just because it removes the whole thing of like, you know, with the YouTuber thing and all that, where there's this very like, you know, you're in there with them and you understand the gear that they're probably using, and we've all seen it all, and that's you know what's up. But with this stuff, it's that whole thing of it's like you're being taken out of your seat and thrown into wherever they're at. Like they have one episode where they throw these dudes in a desert. They airdrop the parts of a car, and they have to literally build the car. I mean, and I'm talking all the parts disassembled, the whole thing. And they also sent them MREs, like, and that's all they had. They were like, "Here's your
Military
MREs,
rations,
here's your
right?
car. You got to get over here," and that's all you get.
Oh, that's real cool. That's real cool. I had no idea that's what the show was about. I've seen it so many times, but I just had no idea.
There's Top Gear, and then Jeremy Clarkson literally punched one of the producers in the. He had words with one of the people. He left Top Gear, and they took most of their crew, and then they started the Grand Tour, which is their newer show, and it is just as fun. It's on Amazon, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something, especially right now.
I know, quarantine.
Episodes are really long. You'll get to learn stuff about other cultures that you may not have known, and you'll probably also hear some factoids that are absolutely not in any way factual.
Oh, okay, that might not be.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Great way to
pretty
not
dumb.
learn.
Yeah. I like edutainment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's us. That's Mutually Bueno in a nutshell.
So, you know how it's like quarantine times? Like, what other shows have you been watching, or have you started?
That is a question and a half.
As of late.
Yes.
Okay, so big mention to Unis Honest.
Unis
Yes.
Honest.
That's Unis Honest, Markiplier and Ethan's show that they're doing. If you haven't started watching it, you better get started on it, because they're deleting the channel after a year. It's one of the cooler projects that's ever happened. They basically said like, okay, we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna upload videos for a year, and then we are deleting the channel.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's super cool. Oh, it's super cool. I love the concept.
Huh? So that's what Markiplier is doing right now. I think I heard
the whole
the
idea
name,
of,
but I
like,
just never stumbled
Unis
into
Honest,
it.
yeah.
How do you spell it? Mutually Bueno's a spelling bee podcast now, so
I don't think you got the update.
no, it changes sometimes.
Qualified for them spelling bees.
Oh boy, that's what we usually get the guests to do it for us, because we're just too dumb.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, since we're already on this topic, I kind of wanted to talk about like, I feel like
What
this
do you want to talk
COVID
about, Aaron?
should transition to a zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
Like,
no. What?
The whole thought process.
no.
Okay, but like I want
not.
Walking Dead zombies, because anything other than that, you're kind of fucked. Like,
Yeah,
there's
not World
no
War
way
Z
you're
ones.
living with 28 Days Later zombies or
World War Z
even,
had the worst ones.
Resident Evil.
You see that ones for World War Z? They were so quick, and they climb on each other. They jump up walls. It's crazy. They're insane.
Where do you find your where would you hold up yourself? Like, where would you hide? What is your plan? Do you have a plan?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Alaska. Yeah. So I learned a lot with Flight Simulator when I was younger, and then my stepdad was a pilot, and so for a little while I got to have a taste of that sweet middle class life. And he's no longer my stepdad because he's a cheating bastard.
Heck of
whatever. But like ultimately, I did get to, I paid a lot of attention to how he flew them damn planes, and I got to check out the controls and sit in the cockpit and understand how flight works. And I absolutely love flight now. I have gotten to touch controls of a plane, but I've never been like taking one off or landing one. Yeah. But I'm.
You would bet on yourself if you had to.
If I had to get the fuck out, absolutely, I would get the fuck out. And like I've already got like we played a game, zombie role play game, and I broke the game.
What? How? Wait, was it like D&D?
Well, yeah, it was kind of like D&D, and so it's supposed to be. It's a really cool game. So it's based on like where you live. You actually get maps for where you live. And the only items that you can have in your character are items you actually physically own with you within, like, you can get that right now or it's, like, somewhere very close. And you can't, like, utilize skills that you don't actually have. So you have to have certain skills. One of my skills was that I lived in the woods for a year and some odd months by myself. So I was just like, I got that survivalist shit down. Like, I'm totally
damn, I am definitely lacking on that.
Man, that's an experience. How long ago did you do that?
Oh, this was a while back. I was, I don't want to say too much on the whole thing, but basically, I, through various and unfortunate events, I kind of found myself on the run for a little bit, and so to stay as hidden as possible, I just realistically, I was kind of just like fucking done with society's bullshit and being told to like I had to make a decision between like paying my probation office or like paying bills for my family, and then family shit because of all that stress just piling up on me. I know that I wasn't being the best person in the world, so I just said fuck it and got what
I'm out.
Yeah, and I went and I survived in the woods for a while, and
nice.
And,
well, not nice, but like,
I mean,
that's cool that.
Yeah, but
it's cool that you had the ability to do so.
Sure. And it definitely it's a thing where like right now with the people that are like I'm not gonna act like I haven't had some kind of scary like God, good Lord, this is an interesting situation, but at the same time, if shit falls all to hell, I'm gonna be calm about it because I have dealt with this. I can go survive in the woods. I know how to make a shelter. I know how to make a fire. I know what I need to take with me, and like. It scares me, the people who have no ability to fend for themselves, and knowing what that does to a person's mindset when they're like, well, you got some and I ain't got none. That's scary. That's a scary mindset to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we're animals at the end of the day, and to have that ability, have that like having that experience to persevere something so hard to deal with, and now everyone these days,
they're panic buying toilet paper, man.
Yeah, I mean, it just says something about us as humans.
Yeah, when toilet paper became worth more than oil.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's crazy right now. It's like 60 cents, bro.
Yeah,
I know. One of my friends got some. She got gas for 19 cents the other day because the place they screwed up.
What?
Yeah, she got 5 gallons for. She paid $1 and something cents for
a full
5
tank?
Gallons of gas.
Oh, that's crazy.
How?
Yeah. She took a picture just to prove it. She's like, nobody's gonna believe this shit. And it was 19 cents a gallon.
19. Wow. Man. So I mean, we talked earlier before the show, but we mentioned that right now all of Toronto is quarantined, right? I guess what's the situation there?
No, yeah, it's bad here.
Really, eh?
So you've got a lot of I'm not gonna say his name, but y'all know the dude who's calling a lot of shots for things in this country, sadly.
Right.
And so people who are easily swayed by that type of radicalization are absolutely disregarding what individuals who are in positions of knowledgeable information-based, like people who are in positions to actually be telling you something that you can trust. And so it's a very it's a nerve-wracking thing right now. Like, you have people here that legitimately are like, oh, it's just like the flu, and like, I'm not like,
no.
A pastor who said that just died from it.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. And so
Divine retribution, my friend.
yes, indeed. And like, you know, I'm not telling anyone what to believe or not to believe, but I am going to say that if you do believe in a grand creator and a knowledgeable creator, to think that knowledgeable creator doesn't want you to utilize your own internal knowledge that they gave you is silly to me. And I think it's detractive to even acting like you appreciate that creator for giving you that knowledge. But again, I don't think we want to get on all that shit right now.
Wait. People are still going to church?
Oh, no church. So basically they restricted it to 10 people or less for any type of gathering, but it's not being enforced. So and the biggest issue for what we're dealing with here is that there's no, you know, it's like in my state alone, when people are talking about the numbers, like, well, there's only so many cases. I'm like, that's not reported. How many cases there are. That's just how many tests we've got in. How do people not get that? But I have to constantly remind people that I'm like, well, those numbers only reflect what we know. Those don't reflect
there's
what
so
we
much that we don't.
In a month or two.
That's
exactly.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's fright. I mean, like, you know, our business lost 70% of our clientele in the first day that all this was announced for us, and then we've lost all the rest of our clientele for the foreseeable future right now.
Right.
And
sucks, but it's understandable.
It's understandable, and I just, you know, it's given us a chance to go back through some older content that we didn't get to look at, and we've got to edit out some things that we didn't think we'd ever get a chance to get back to, some stuff that we did back when we were just like, hey, we'll come film that, and then, like, you know, we didn't get paid for it, and it really wasn't that great, but like there were some cool moments, and so, you know, that's been fun. But the other side of, like, just recently I looked at a picture of the main, so we're the Four Bridges City, right? Hill City, Four Bridges City. Chattanooga has way too many nicknames. But we've got bridges. Yeah, right. But the one of the bridges is a very, very old, very beautiful old school bridge. It's a walking bridge. It's the Walnut Street Bridge here in Chattanooga, and there is a picture on r/Chattanooga of that bridge packed out. Like, really? And I mean, I'm talking packed out. Like, it looks like they're throwing a friggin' music festival on the bridge, and it's just so disconcerting to see something like that when you know that it takes the smallest amount of distancing
man. Symptoms
yourself.
don't come. Like, symptoms don't show till like 2 weeks. Right? So it's
because they could stay dormant, and you know, you could have it and you don't even know it.
Realize how they have it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Is like the first night when all this got announced too was like we had our only gig that we had for this year, our only paying gig, and it was for, you know, several $100s, so we definitely wanted to get that. We also had one of the people that we bring in as a freelancer on that to get paid, and it's, you know, it's an important thing to us to, like, make sure that the people who are helping us do this are also getting paid when we're making money, so we didn't want to cancel it. And you know, luckily there weren't a lot of people there, and I feel bad for the bands for that, but it was a situation where me and my business partner are both just like, what the fuck? What is going on here? Also, I forgot that. Is cursing okay on this show?
Absolutely. Go off for it. Yeah.
I've been kind of censoring myself and then not at other times.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool.
It's all good, brother.
Hayden and I were both just like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we wore masks when we were out there, and caught shit from one of the comedians, because what we were filming was called the Tennessee Chainsaw Massacre.
Right on.
And it was fun. It was basically dark humored comedy mixed with music and stuff. So There was a client of ours, Charles at Large. If you want to, please check out Charles at Large on YouTube. It is fan-friggin-tastic. Look up dog shit vacuum.
Dog shit vacuum.
Oh man, it's the funniest thing ever.
Fire.
And Charles has been a super supportive person. He actually comes over, helps us with syncing audio and editing stuff. Because just to put it into perspective, we started this whole endeavor of like starting a media company in March of last year. So we're just now up at a year. We have amassed over 20 terabytes of data of video footage.
Wow. A lot of
That's
4K, I would assume, right? You're doing a lot of 4K.
No. That's
footage,
only one camera we've got that's like we were doing in 4K. Most of this was done in 1080p,
No,
and even the 4K
seriously.
we usually shoot with 1080p if we can.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, it's a metric fuck ton of footage.
Yeah. So I guess in this, would you consider it, I guess, like gig economy kind of things that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working in media, and you originally said that you initially lost 70% of your business, but now you're completely shut down. Is there any type of assistance, any type of financial help that the government is giving to people who are working in the gig economy? Because I know here it wasn't immediately a thing, but then we slowly help people who are in that field or in
there
that
are
industry.
some things available. We probably won't be eligible for them because we haven't, like, our business hasn't existed long enough to be eligible for that stuff.
Oh,
We're
okay, I didn't
looking
think
into
about that.
But it's a thing that's just like, again, we're doing our best to just hunker down and do what we can do right now to reduce costs for ourselves and find extra work.
Yeah.
But as far as for the gig economy, I honestly I wouldn't be able to give you an honest, like, I wouldn't be able to give you any kind of answer that would have any weight to it. It would just be like
maybe.
yeah, it's like I guess in a what we're doing is so alien in this town. There are a lot of other production companies here. There are plenty, but
are there a lot of I guess resources with tech?
I'm trying to force YouTube to build a studio here. Like,
there is.
That's my goal, is to put out so much content. If we can just get enough other editors working with us, or find the right group of people that understand, like people that are inspired by, you know, Markiplier, people who are inspired by Jacksepticeye, people who are inspired by the Game Grumps, inspired by Good Mythical Morning. Any of those groups are like, you know, that's like Game Grumps is how we recorded our gaming show that we put out. Jake and Anthony. We recorded like 60 episodes of that and then started editing those down and popping them out. Originally, we wanted to have the episodes coming out 4 days of the week, but it just wasn't feasible.
Yeah,
and that's fine. So we just scaled it back down. But yeah, it's in terms of content in Chattanooga, we've got people now starting to get like a little bit more geared onto the YouTube thing because they saw some of what we were doing and some of the stuff we were putting out. And the main thing was like, my goal with YouTube content was to offer very high quality, almost broadcast media level content. And that took a lot of planning, a lot of pre-production, a lot of writing, and a lot of stress and, you know, just really going above and beyond with the writing, the set design, the lighting, knowing what we were doing with our cameras, exceptional audio if we can achieve it. And then just good premises, you know, and fun subjects, and that's hard to do. Like, it's hard to keep every episode
fresh
of what we were trying to do on the bus. Because I mean, we made a talk show on a bus, and it actually sounds and looks okay.
Yeah. I saw that one. I saw there was one recently. If you go on the Midnight Puff web channel,
Angel LaVey.
Yes, that's the one I saw. The one with the ball shooting.
And like if you watch that, the fun thing I love is that we specifically started at 40% of our production ability. Like, we looked at what we could do, and then we said, let's not come out the gates with like the grandest, wildest, all the bells and whistles, everything polished.
Test the
because
waters.
If we do that, then trying to top that or excel past that becomes this huge stress thing. So we slowly increase the set. We slowly get, or not even slowly. It's like when you watch from the first episode to the second episode, there's an immediate noticeable jump in quality. And then when you go from that episode to the third episode, again, and it kind of gets a little more refined and a little more refined. And then when it comes to the episode that we close the season out on, like, dude, the end of that is one of my favorite things I've ever pulled off, because I made a camera crane for we got a crane for my camera, and then I attached my my motorized gimbal to the crane so that I could throw my camera way up and far back out and roll it in, just smooth and beautiful shots. Man. And then as soon as we wanted to end it with a musical performance, so we're interviewing Megan Jean and the KFB. If you haven't heard of them, please check them out. Wonderful group. Megan is a huge. I'm a huge fan of Megan and what she does, as well as Byrne and her and he and her and he makes some fantastic music if you like folk Americana type stuff. But we had them on the show and smoking up the cannabis and having a good old time, and then they let us film them. They let us film them playing at a local venue. So the final shot, when they finish out the notes, the camera just starts panning to the right, and here walks in the host of the show, Manny, going, "Hey, we really appreciate you checking out the Midnight Puff. It's been a wonderful first season." I mean, like, that is a friggin' knocking the ball out the park moment for me personally.
Oh, dude. Honestly, congrats. I mean, that sounds like quite the ride, and it feels like a lot of things have been happening pretty...
Yeah.
I mean, like, it just seems like from the way that you mention it, it seems like things have been kind of working out. You're meeting all these different connections. You're meeting all these people in the industry, and it kind of you're building a community.
I mean, we've had
a
slow build, but I really didn't expect us, especially since we're cannabis content and knowing how YouTube handles that stuff. We didn't really expect it to be this explosive thing right off the bat. We're kind of on that. Let's just keep putting stuff in this thing and see what happens, because I feel like eventually the coffers are going to spill over and people will start enjoying the content.
No, man, that's really impressive. And I need to know, what kind of... You've been talking about gimbals and all this equipment. What's your setup look like? It must be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it must look insane. Come on.
Actually, here, hang on. I'll share you a picture of that.
Okay,
right
let's see.
Boom.
Oh...
God. Let's go.
That is GSPHQ.
Wow.
Ginger Soul Productions headquarters, baby.
Oh,
that's pretty mod.
Okay, guys, this is insane. Okay, we're looking at a picture. Computers everywhere. There's equipment everywhere. Three computers. There's like a
there's a 2018 Mac Mini that's like decked out, and then there's a PC with like, I think the PC's got a Ryzen 5 in it.
Nice.
And it's also decked out well so that I can edit on that one. And then the third computer in the center right there is one that we like. It doesn't really ever get turned on. That was for one of our guys that we were helping out for a while, and we were hoping he was going to come over and start editing on it. But that's kind of our extra computer that can be used for editing if the other two are tied up with other stuff. And then I used to do music semi-professionally.
I was going to say, because I see the
keyboards, right?
Synth. Yeah, I see everything. It's mod.
Yeah, and but I kind of. I had a problem, and it definitely was not being helped by fellow musicians, and I just needed to step away from a scene that kind of had certain... I had to get back to myself and stop being an addict. So and I did. I got my shit cleaned up and managed to kind of get myself back together, but I don't want it to sound like one of those stories. Like... That was my problem.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to be there, to be in such a position, and then get yourself out of it, that's just incredible. And a lot of people are not able to do that. So it's really impressive that you were able to, start this.
You don't necessarily get to pick it.
Yeah.
Like, I got into a very, the affluent group of people here making music and doing stuff, and kind of on purpose, distanced myself from them and let them know real quick and very quickly that it's like, look, I understand that I don't come from a pedigree that y'all might approve of. And I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to impress you people.
Right.
I'm here to make art. I am
here to
say something, and if you don't like that, I'm very sorry for you, but the likelihood that you're going to get me to stop is zero.
Yeah, and it's
nice.
It's not easy. I mean, I've known people who've been in situations like that too. But man, I'm still just speechless about this photo. This is incredible. I mean, just with all this tech, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
That's years of putting stuff together and working my ass off, and also like some of this stuff is even being loaned to us right now to get what we're doing done by people that kind of saw what we were starting on.
That potential.
Man,
and that was the part that blew me away. Like,
freaking way.
The people who the individuals who I never thought I would be able to impress, like guys that are involved in much bigger productions than me and stuff that wows me, and they're coming over to my house and they're going, "No, you guys got this. This looks really good." I'm just like, ah.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm gonna just say, I didn't expect this is how the episode would turn out. This has been a lot of fun.
Sure.
And we literally just met today, right? I mean, initially we started talking on Reddit, and then this literally happened in a day.
Honestly,
that's insane.
Like,
and just seeing this perspective, I guess.
No, it's super cool to have this different flavor of talking to someone, and just to hear the that's what I love. Like, when somebody has the passion about something and they just continue to pursue that, like, those are the types of people a lot of people should be looking for as friends, just because those are they'll uplift you, they'll push you to become better in your craft, that's incredible. And I'm super thankful that you came on the podcast today, that you were just talking and vibing.
Guys, thanks
brother,
so much, and I'm looking forward to doing some voice acting with you guys in the future.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Yeah, so you'll hear Sloth on our newest video coming out on our main channel, Mutually Bueno. Guys, I've been editing it all day. I'm only 20 seconds in. It's insane. I put in so much work. I look back at the time, only 20 seconds. That's it.
Dude, animation is hard. Animation is one of those things. It's just if you're 20 seconds into your animation, Jesus, oh man, that's impressive. Because I've tried to mess with animation programs.
Oh yeah.
And
it's
nope.
It's a lot of work. Honestly, because you're not just you're editing several different frames in every second, right?
Right. Yeah. It's 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of freaking work, and not all the images are different, but I mean, you could stretch them and stuff. Sometimes they could be longer than a few seconds, but at the end of the day, it's still a lot of layers that you're putting onto each other, and just a bunch of different things to make it look like movement or motion.
Are you guys into any of the D&D animation YouTube channels that are
out?
I didn't know there were any.
Oh, buddy,
that sounds cool. I've been wanting to do D&D too.
I'm about to get mind blown.
Yeah. Oh man, that should actually be something we should do.
Puffin Forest. Dingo Doodles.
Joe Cat has the crap guide to D&D. Joe Cat. That sounds familiar.
I know the crap guide to D&D. That's pretty jokes.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna check it out, because we've been meaning to do some D&D on our channel.
These guys rock.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to for sure check that out. What about yourself though? Are you doing D&D?
I do. I've DM'd games, as well as been a player in several campaigns. I have slaughtered armies of mech orcs and brought down entire regions of political discourse, as well as wrecked the entire mage guild in space.
That's pretty hot.
Don't put me in a prison it actually was very hot. I burnt a hole through the hull of their spaceship prison, and then I walked into the middle of their courtroom where they were having their nice little meeting and kind of miffed it.
Nice. You were just and I'm done with you people. Goodbye.
I was very done with their bullshit.
Good
day. Damn, man.
We are a little bit deep into the podcast, so this is where I guess we'll close it off just a bit.
Okay.
Sloth, thank you so much for being on the show. How can our audience check you out?
So, to start with, you can check us out on Reddit at r/TheMidnightPuff, and it is a capital T, capital M, capital P. TheMidnightPuff. You can also find us on YouTube at MidnightPuff Media, and you can find us on Instagram at TheMidnightPuff, Facebook at TheMidnightPuff, as well as if you want to check out the delivery system, not that you'll be able to get it delivered, but just to see some of the stuff that we do.
I'm
interested to see like how we've been setting this up. It is 423express.com. There's a lot of really cool stuff to kind of see. It's a very simple website. And then we also will have here very soon a Midnight Puff Discord.
Hey.
So,
420, 420.
We're trying to... Yeah, absolutely. All the 420s.
Sorry to cut
gang.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny because we were talking earlier that your Discord name, right? It's one number shy of the greatest number.
If anybody hearing this wants to send me a message or say, "Hey, you're welcome to my literal Discord. I'm not making this up, and I did not choose this or edit my numbers.
Great.
This is what the Discord gods gave me." It's capital S Slothimus. That's SLOTHIMUS. Capital P Prime PRIME. Hashtag 6942.
Yes.
Damn,
so close. That one number.
You just gotta add the one donut, and you are good, brother.
It's the implication.
I just feel like I have to mention again that it just sounds so cool what we have going on with the businesses, just everything collaborating together. I feel like we need that in Toronto.
Yeah, and hopefully we eventually could have something like that up in Canada. Would be amazing.
Please.
That would be international, baby.
Yeah. No, we need that. Yeah. If I could go to a bar.
Who doesn't want to get driven from one bar to another bar in a legal state, just smoking your cannabis on a cool bus?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I forgot to ask, which I've been meaning to ask. I'm sure the audience wonders too. How much is your service?
Oh, that just depends on what you're getting. We're actually, since a bunch of people are getting the whole stimulus thing, we're actually about to implement a program where you can pay monthly to have to have every week. We're going to send you
subscription based. Yo,
yes, we're going to subscription based.
That's a smart move, brother.
Because it just makes it a lot easier for people that are like actually needing this stuff, as well as the people that don't want to have to worry about where they're going to get it in the midst of all this quarantine stuff and
Yeah, that's true. It's scary. I mean, it's just a tough time.
We'll see what happens. I mean, it's the best part about this for me personally is that this is all the brainchild, as far as like what the Midnight Puff is and what it's been doing. That's all the brainchild of the gentleman you see in the green screen footage. That's Manny Cookie Strickland. He is one hell of an entrepreneur, one hell of a businessman, and definitely doing a lot to set standards for just the community in general, as well as the Black community, and bringing a lot of creators from I mean, he himself is mixed, and so he's definitely trying to use that to mix the population of creatives together. And I mean, I haven't seen.
Sorry.
Yeah, man, it's Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a very important thing to him, and finding somebody like that where I could actually do something that not only was impactful for me personally, because like I caught a felony for mushrooms. We don't want to talk about that right now, but we'll talk about that later. Getting to work in something that's actually being utilized to help with legislation. I know I've said that word a lot, but it means the world to me, because personally in my life I felt like I was cut off from being able to, be a part of the system in terms of like any kind of voting or any of that stuff. Now I'm being involved in a different part of the system. I'm being involved in the part of information allocation.
Nice.
And, I love it.
And I'm so excited and very lucky to have that.
Yeah, no, you should definitely be super proud. Honestly, that's everything they have going on is quite the achievement. Man, what is this podcast? Mutually Bueno. This is all serious.
Man, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much.
You've been a great guest. We've been shitty hosts, but whatever.
No.
Doing something, but thanks a lot, guys, for taking another listen. Mutually Bueno. Check out our main channel if you're listening to this on MBA podcast, but I'm sure you would have known
Mutually Bueno. Check these cats out. They
Definitely
got that hot content going muy caliente.
Just as spicy as my nipples.
Ooh, he put icy hot on his
You had nipples today.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend that, but I guess, guys, until next time.
Bye.
Yup.